Hello everyone and welcome back to my official The GH24 News YouTube channel. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we begin, hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Lulu Spencer feels bad after Dante Falconeri tells her that Brooklyn Quartermain and Harrison Chase can't have children. Lulu prodigies if BLQ's one-sidedness will beget a problem in their marriage. Dante tells Lulu that he wishes she knew the Brooklyn that he knows. Lulu admits that it's hard occasionally to watch his history with BLQ from the sidelines. She also admits that she feels hovered because the whole world changed, but she hasn't. She feels like she lost 4 times in a sanitarium bed while Brooklyn took her place in everyone's life. As they speak, Lulu gets a phone call telling her that Lucky is in the sanitarium. Aunt Stella stops in at the Savoy to have a nightcap with Curtis Ashford. They partake special amalgamations as Curtis asks for a favor. She's musketeers with Congressman Henderson and Curtis wants an preface before Drew Quartermain destroys everything he has erected. He tells her that Drew told him that he'll stop all of Curtis' systems at a civil position. He explains to Stella that Drew indeed let Aurora take a mega hit to soothe his bruised pride. Stella listens hardly and of course agrees to help. Laura Collins and Jordan Ashford are in a meeting, trying to figure out how to make the beachfront work. Anna Devane walks by and Laura asks who she thinks is the biggest trouble, Drew, Sonny Corinthos, or Jen Sidwell. They bandy how fluently Drew is willing to align himself with Jen's just to take out Sonny. They agree that they'd rather deal with the devil they formerly know, Sonny. The meeting ends when both Anna and Laura admit calls. Jason visits Sam's grave, while Drew doesn't get what he wants. Jason Morgan visits Sam's grave to bandy what he wants versus what he thinks she'd want. He tells her how poorly he wants to kill Cyrus Renault for killing her, but he knows she needs him to put Danny Morgan first and that means not acting on revenge. Drew wants the house that he bought to be a home for an amalgamated family with Willow Corinthos. He asks her to consider it and she backs down from the idea. Willow tells him that she and her kitties have moved around so important recently that she thinks they need to stay put at her mama's. The further Drew addresses and describes blending their families, the more reluctant she seems. Eventually, Willow feels uncomfortable because Wiley adores his pater, Michael Corinthos, and she can't take way to confuse him indeed more. Wiley expects Michael to come home from the burn unit and for them to be a family again. Drew tells her that when she's ready, the home is hers and they should tell the kitties about their love together soon. Willow refuses to talk to the kitties until Michael is home and stable. Drew takes Willow home and when he returns home, Jason is staying for him. Jason tells him that he wants to make peace. Brooklyn returns home to find Chase staying for her. He was planning love, but rather, they bandy the wind ball they've been thrown. Chase tells her that he's grieving the child they can't conceive, and Brooklyn is concentrated on having a family in any way that they can. They bandy the complications of figuring out how to have a family. Chase starts breaking down over the immolation he thinks his woman is making. He feels like he's stealing the occasion to carry a baby from her. Why they go in circles until she eventually breaks down and tells Chase that she was pregnant and had a child ahead. Cyrus injects Lucky Spencer with digitalis and begins choking him. Elizabeth Baldwin is on the phone with 911 and identifies Cyrus as the meddler in her home as he snappily runs off. Lucky is unconscious as Liz starts to do condensing while staying for help. Anna arrives and is brought up to date on what has occurred at Liz's house. Meanwhile, Liz is at GH as they continue to work on Lucky. Liz tells Isaiah Gannon that digitalis was used and he runs to get the proper drug to hopefully neutralize it. Liz sees Laura, who has arrived with Jordan, and fills her in on Cyrus coming to her house and confessing to everything before edging in Lucky with digitalis. Anna also needs to hear everything that has happened to Liz and pulls her to the side. Aiden Weber arrives at General Hospital at about the same time as Lulu and Dante. Everyone is staying for an update when Isaiah walks into the staying area. Jocelyn Jacks set up the place in the forest land where Cyrus hides out, thanks to Jack Brennan giving her the address. She starts ransacking it, going through every hole and flipping the cabinetwork looking for anything that links him to Dex's murder. Ultimately she finds an envelope that contains Cyrus' glories, the sanitarium irons from each of his victims. She takes a picture of them, turns around and sees Cyrus standing in the doorway. He comes at her with a hatchet and Cyrus falls to the bottom and tells Joss that she's a killer now too. She checks to be sure that Cyrus is dead and also calls Jack and tells him that she needs his help. Cyrus Renal will bust Jocelyn Jacks, while Laura Collins gets some horrifying Lucky Spencer use. Brooklyn Quartermain may also unmask her secret, so let's talk about what's in store. For starters, Jordan Ashford will sit down with Anna Devane and Laura to bandy some new tactics. Jen Sidwell might be a content of discussion, especially since it looks like Anna may want to uncover further about his docket. Still, Anna will also be eager to detect Cyrus since an arrest leave is coming in for him in the morning. Unfortunately, it's too late for Lucky, who just got fitted with Cyrus Digitalis hype. Cyrus will escape back to his den while Elizabeth Baldwin puts her medical chops to good use. After Lucky defeats, Liz will end up doing casket condensing as she begs her partner to survive. Once the paramedics take Lucky to the sanitarium, Laura will get some scary updates on her son's extremity. You Can Go. Laura will rush right over to GH and supplicate that Lucky pulls through. As for Dante Falconeri, he'll try to move Lulu Spencer to see another side of Brooke Lynn. Lulu will be sorry about the fertility struggles that Brooke Lynn and Harrison Chase are dealing with as a couple, but she'll still find it delicate to look beyond her once issues with BLQ. Meanwhile, Chase will wear his heart on his sleeve once he meets up with Brooke Lynn at home. Addition. Since Chase will be feeling so shamefaced over not being suitable to give Brooke Lynn a baby, it'll add to her guilt over the secret she's buried. Brooke Lynn will choose to be stalwart, so she may break down and confess she's given birth before. Brooke Lynn gave up her firstborn after a teenage gestation, so Chase may face her relinquishment stunner. Lulu will eventually get some astounding news of her own due to Lucky's hospitalization. Portia Robinson and Isaiah Gannon will do everything in their power to save Lucky once he becomes their coming case. At the Savoy, Curtis Ashford will have a special request for Stella Henry. There'll be some task that Stella is uniquely good to help with, so she should agree to pitch in. As for Jason Morgan, he'll have to decide whether he'll take justice into his own hands and deal with Cyrus himself. The consequences for Danny Morgan might be the only thing stopping Jason from wiping Cyrus off the chart. Jason will open up to someone on Thursday's show, so it's possible he'll talk to outscreen Sam McCall in the afterlife. Maybe Jason will try to get a sense of how Sam would truly feel about all this. Jason might still get involved in Cyrus' last stage, but Jack Brennan may formally be headed to the cabin. Brennan put Jocelyn in detriment's way by giving her that address, so it might be fitting for him to save her by taking Cyrus out. At Drew Quartermain's house, he'll stopgap Willow Corinthos agrees they should each live together there. Drew would love nothing further than to be a united family with Willow, Wiley Corinthos, Amelia Corinthos, and Scout Quartermain. Willow might delve in now that Drew's put her on the spot, but it's also possible she'll need some time to pound it over. Grounded on our GH prognostications, Drew's move heft offer for Willow could bring a turning point, bone. That leaves Nina Reeves ready to pull out all the stops to break them up. Brooke Lynn Chase explains her secrets revealed, Jack Brennan helps keep secrets hidden, and Jason Morgan offers a peace convention. Chase seems dumbfounded as he says to her, "You got pregnant as a teenager and you've been carrying this secret ever since." Brooke Lynn looks like she's going to cry. She's likely hysterical. He'll not like her keeping secrets from him, especially not this bone. Will Brooke Lynn tell Chase everything, including that Dante Falconeri sired the baby? Or will he remain a boy I got involved with at camp times ago? It was easily toned defense when Jocelyn Jacks shot Cyrus Renault with Dex Heller's gun, as Cyrus approached her with dismissal. But proving it's going to be a little murky, considering she broke into his cabin and looked through his effects before she set up the substantiation demanded to put him down. She wasn't indeed wearing any gloves, so her fingerprints are far and wide, including the sanitarium irons she set up that he'd kept as glories. Cyrus' last words to her were, "Now you're a killer," and it really got to her. Brennan tells her they could call the authorities, or they could take care of this themselves. It sounds like Brennan's damage control might include a crime scene cleanup and conceivably disposing of a body. What's known and on record with the police is that Cyrus approached Elizabeth Baldwin with a syringe full of digitalis that he picked Lucky Spencer with. As Lucky is in treatment, Dante and Anna Devane bandy his going after Cyrus, as Jordan Ashford went to look in literal lines on Cyrus for leads where he went. Little do they know that the problem of Cyrus has been handled, and he's no longer a trouble to anyone. But will Brennan indeed turn in the substantiation that Jocelyn set up, or will Cyrus remain a missing person? At the house that Drew Quartermain bought for himself, Willow Corinthos, and their children, Jason showed up wanting a peace convention. A astounded Drew gapes at his binary as Jason says he's calling for armistice between the two of them. He'd formerly explained it was because of the late Sam McCall. He'd made a pledge to her grave that he'd put Danny Morgan first, and she was Emily Scout Quartermain's mama also. At the sanitarium, Lucky's family is staying as he's being treated. Hopefully the digitalis cure will work on him that Isaiah Gannon no doubt administers. But Aidan Weber is obviously hysterical, and so is his mama. Elizabeth Baldwin, Laura Collins, and Lulu Spencer approach them with upset aesthetics on their faces. Laura asks what's wrong and a tearful Aidan tells them Dad's dying. Will Lucky get lucky one further time and survive? The hype took effect on Lucky nearly incontinently, as it likely transferred the digitalis up the femoral roadway from the aesthetics of the position of the stab. Elizabeth started CPR right down and kept soliciting him to stay with her while the ambulance was on the way. But inside the ICU room where Isaiah and Portia Robinson are with him, he's in cipher.